Dear friends, welcome to Bhavesh Sirki online class. Let us have video lecture and enjoy this session. Welcome to the new session. We are going to talk about tax today. Now, tax in very simplified term I will explain you is the amount collected by government, may it be central government or state government, for welfare of the country. That means to build bridges, to run railways, etc. Whatever facilities we get from the government, that is covered under this tax. That means they collect tax from us. They means government collects tax from us and they provide us the facilities. Now, talking about tax, there can be two types of taxes. One is called as a direct tax and other is called as a indirect tax. Now, what is the meaning of direct tax? That we shall understand. Whenever a person or an organization earns some money, that money is taxable and government will charge some tax on it. Say for example, an individual earns 10 lakhs of rupees, then government will ask certain income tax on that. That is called as one example of a direct tax. Now then question arises, so then what is this indirect tax? We have to understand, you might have purchased a biscuit packet, chocolate or some other material where printed price is there, and below the printed price they mention it inclusive of all taxes. Now in earlier days there were multiple taxes in India and they come under indirect tax because you are not paying directly to the government. When you are buying something, you means here a person or an organization buying something, certain amount will go to the government, and that is why it is called as a indirect tax. Indirect tax is levied on goods. That means, as I told you, you may be buying chocolate or ketchup or something like that. So such kind of goods, then they may charge tax on goods. They may charge tax on service. Now question arises, sir, what is the meaning of this service? Now you might be knowing that if I want to do my accounting, then I have to hire a chartered accountant. Chartered accountant will not give me any goods. He will provide his services to me to maintain my accounts. So for maintaining my accounts, I'll be paying him a service amount, and from his whatever amount he gets from his services, that amount will be taxable, and that comes under indirect tax. So we are going to understand in today's topic will be indirect tax. And as I told you, if you remember that earlier there were multiple indirect taxes. Now India has adopted a policy, one nation, one tax. Earlier there were more than 22 indirect taxes. Now it has come under one nation, one tax, and that is in a simplified term it is called as GST, that is goods and service taxes. Fine. So we shall understand the technicalities of GST. We have understood what is tax part, and remember the part which I just explained you, it is for your understanding, theoretical part. Most of the time such questions will not be asked to you in your board examination, but this was for your knowledge. In this chapter of GST we have to understand few terminologies, and based on those terminologies we need to know certain formulae. We may come across term as dealer or businessman, something like that. That means this person is basically a seller, and consumer, or sometimes it may be as a customer. Fine. So this person is the end user. And let me make you very clear about it. All the taxes of GST, finally it is paid by consumer or the customer. In between whatever taxes are paid, we'll understand that in the second session, but you have to remember all the taxes which are paid under GST are either by the consumer or the customer, whatever you call it as. technically speaking, dealer does not have to pay any tax. When we shall come to that particular topic, I will explain you this particular thing. Whenever there is a dealer, that means a businessman, he wants to sell something, and at times he may list down some price. Say for example, you are going to buy a shirt and that shirt is priced at 1000 rupees. So mark price of that shirt is 1000 rupees. So you should know that what is the mark price. At times they decide some discount on products whatever they are selling. Say that particular shop is giving you 10% discount, so your rate of discount is 10%. If discount is given, then selling price comes into play. SP, that is selling price, comes into play. Selling price is nothing else but mark price minus discount. And remember, if discount is 0, sometimes it may happen like you're going and buying something from a shop and no discount is given, that time selling price will be equal to mark price. Otherwise, selling price is equal to mark price minus discount. So mark price, rate of discount, selling price, this many terminology you have already come across grade 8, grade 9. Now, this year you will know rate of GST. That is at what rate GST is calculated, or at what rate the GST is calculated. Now, I will explain you in 2 minutes after this particular thing that how many rates of GST are there. After rate of GST, remember you have to calculate GST. GST is always calculated as, this is the most important formula, rate of GST multiplied by selling price. GST is always calculated on selling price. GST is always calculated on selling price. Now, as I was talking about rate of GST, in India, rate of GST, there are 5 slabs of GST, rate of GST. Very essential commodities, say for example, milk, grains, etc. The rate of GST applied on those things is 0%. So this is your first slab, 0%. Then second slab is 5% if you're going in a restaurant to eat some food, and at the end of the thing you get a bill. Bill will include the cost of the food what you have utilized, as well as it will contain 5% of GST. So 0%, 5% are 2 slabs. Next slab is 12%. Next slab is 18%. And last slab is 28%. Let me tell you, these slabs you do not have to remember which commodities will come under what particular thing. They will provide you rate of GST in the question itself. So you need not learn the rate of GST for various articles. Remember that. Remember very well. Now when I talk about GST, GST has two components. One is called as SGST. Sometimes it is also known as UGST. I will explain you what does this terminology mean. And you have CGST. I will explain you. GST has two components, SGST and CGST. SGST stands for state government, and collected by state government and collected by central government. If state, instead of state, some of them are union territories like Div, Daman, Delhi, etc. So instead of SGST, they will label it as UGST, but they are almost parallel to each other. It just changes, S changes to U if it is union territory. Now, why it has two components, I will explain you. Whenever a goods or services is provided or sold at particular thing, at particular in a particular state, say for example Maharashtra, then certain part of the tax will go to the state government and certain part will go to central government. When I say certain part, sir, is there any component decided? Yes. Suppose a particular thing is sold for certain amount and GST collected is rupees 100, then 50 rupees will go to SGST and 50 rupees will go to CGST. In short, whatever GST is calculated, 50% will go to state government, 50% will go to the central government. So if I talk about any of the rate here, any of the rate, say if I talk about 5% slab, then 5% out of 5%, 2.5% will go to state government and 2.5 will go to central government. Likewise, any of the rate which you come across, 50% of that will go to state government and remaining 50% will go to central government. We just understood that GST has two components, CGST and SGST. That is state government and central government, both will take their component. This is applicable when the goods are sold intrastate. What I mean to say intrastate, say some article is made in Mumbai and is sold at Pune. So within a state, the things have been sold or bought. In such a case, it is called as an intrastate, and in the case of intrastate transaction, GST will have two components, SGST and CGST. If it is interstate, say for example, some article is made in Mumbai and it is sold at Ahmedabad, then there will be no two components, it will be integrated GST. And let me tell you, this particular type of questions were not included, or this particular topic was not included in 2020 exams. For 2021 exams, let us check it out whether they are going to use this IGST or not. If it is not there, we shall not talk about that. But as of now, I am not talking about interstate transactions. These two lectures of GST will comprise of intrastate only. I am repeating, interstate transaction we are not going to see because we have yet to get council's guidance that interstate is included or not. Last year it was not included. Last year means the students who appeared for 2020 exam. 2021 exam will confirm, and then we shall discuss about interstate if it is there. Right now we will talk about intrastate transaction. It will have two components, SGST and CGST. I am repeating, IGST was not a part of syllabus or the scope in 2020. As on now, there is no instruction whether it is included or not for 2021. So I am not including as on now. If it opens up or if it is council's guidance, then that IGST is there. We will talk about that particular thing also. Now, when I talk about intrastate transaction, SGST and CGST, and you should, again, I'm just reminding which things you require. Mark price. You require rate of discount. You need to know discount. You need to know selling price. Selling price, mark price minus mark price minus discount. Discount is rate of discount into mark price. This part was learnt by you in lower grades, and if you have forgotten that, I will take few examples so that you can understand it or you can recall those particular things. Now what we are going to see in this particular thing is I have divided board into two parts. This part earlier studied, you should know rate of GST. Now sometimes they may give you smartly, instead of giving rate of GST, they may give you rate of CGST, or they may give you rate of SGST. Then you have to remember that if rate of GST is X%, then CGST will be X by 2% and SGST will be X by 2%. That will make X%, and you know the slabs. Slabs can be, I'm reminding you, 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%, right? It goes on as you buy the articles which are of lesser use, or as you go for luxurious uses. Luxurious articles will be charged 28%. Very essential articles will be charged at 0%. Likewise, rate goes on increasing. So after repeating this particular thing, I will explain you with a few examples in the upcoming part of the lecture. Dear friends, we are going to see two types of questions. One type of question, type 1, where I'm writing down over here so you understand. Type 1, only one transaction. When I say only one transaction, that means there is a dealer and a consumer. and type 2 question where more than one transaction is done. More than one transaction is done. In today's section, we'll see only type 1 questions, that is only one transaction is done between dealer and consumer. So we are not going to see type 2 questions today. I have written few things on the board at the top part. Green part represents data and red part represents question. They given us mark price of an article is 2,300, rate of discount is 10% and rate of GST is 18%. Find CGST, find SGST and find the bill amount. My dear friends, this is very important, bill amount. In few of the books, bill amount is not categorically mentioned, but whenever in GST, if I am talking to some professional of GST, when I say bill amount means the amount as SP plus included GST. In some of the books, bill amount is without GST, sometimes they say with GST, but technically speaking, whenever I am using bill amount includes GST. So if I have asked bill amount, that means I have to find out what is the selling price of the article as well as GST and their sum also. Coming back to the topic, as I told you, it will be divided in previous part. You understood it is divided into two things. One, pre-knowledge, your grade 8, 9, whatever you have studied, and grade 10. So first thing what we are going to see is mark price is 2,300. They given rate of discount 10%. From rate of discount, I can calculate discount. Discount will be rate of discount multiplied by mark price. So what do you get over here? Rate of discount is 10%, that is 10 over 100 into 2300 and 00 gets cancelled. So my discount here is rupees 230. Now from this I can find out SP. SP is nothing else but mark price minus discount, which is equal to 2,300 minus 230. So once you get this amount, say this comes as X. Yeah, I'm not calculating for saving time. You get SP as rupees X. Say for example, this much part you have done in grade 8, 9, etc. After doing this, you are supposed to calculate GST, and let me tell you, they have asked CGST as well as SGST. What I am going to do is I am going to do it very simple. I will find out GST. GST is rate of GST multiplied by selling price. Remember, GST is always calculated on selling price. So GST is rate of GST into selling price. Rate of GST is 18%, 18 upon 100 into X. SP is X. I will request you to calculate this yourself a little later. And your say amount comes as Y. Your GST comes as Y. And if you remember, GST has two components. So CGST will be equal to Y upon 2 and SGST will be equal to Y upon 2. They have asked us bill amount. I told you bill amount is nothing else but selling price plus total GST. Fine, and that will be equal to X plus Y. Whatever X and Y will be replaced by some real numbers. So you have to know this particular thing. This much part you have studied in lower standard. This is only the new part, and let me tell you, your seniors and few people may scare you that GST is very difficult chapter. Let me tell you, it's nothing else, just calculation of percentage and understanding of your English will explain you entire GST at grade 10 level. Thank you. We are going to see one more question where mark price is 5,000, rate of GST is 12%, bill amount is 4480, and we are supposed to find out rate of discount. Remember, mark price is 5,000 and bill amount is 4480. It means there will be some discount. It is obvious. Now what I'm going to do is I'm trying to recall a concept of unitary method, which I find it easier, and if you have some other method you can use that particular thing. Here what I'm going to write down is one is SP and other is bill amount. Definitely this is in rupees, this is also in rupees. Now as rate of GST is 12%, if SP is 100 rupees, then your bill amount will be 112. 12. Now we know bill amount is 4480. We do not know SP, and this will be the example of direct variation, or you can say unitary method, that if one thing increases, other also increase, and vice versa. So now this being direct variation, I will be calculating x over 100. As direct variation is there, ratios are equal. X over 100, one ratio, another ratio is 4480 over 112. So x will be equal to 4480 multiplied by 100 over 112. And if I calculate x, you can see 112 4s are 448. So this will be 40 into 100, which is equal to rupees, or rather x will be equal to 4000. So your SP is equal to rupees 4000. Now question is not to find SP, question is to find out rate of discount. Sir, how can we find out rate of discount? Now for calculating rate of discount, I must know discount. Discount here given is rupees 5000 minus rupees 4000, that is mark price minus selling price, and I calculate discount as rupees 1000. I got discount, but I have to calculate rate of discount. I hope you know the formula for rate of discount. It is equal to discount upon mark price multiplied by 100. Your discount was 1000, mark price already mentioned as 5000 into 100, 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0, and your rate of discount is 20%. So this question was little different. Rate of discount was to be calculated. I have made use of the unitary method. If you're not comfortable with this, you can go the algebraic way, let the selling price be X, etc. That method also is correct, but this I believe is easier to calculate. I have taken MP is rupees 15,000, that is mark price is rupees 15,000, rate of discount is 10%, bill amount is rupees 14,175. We are supposed to find out rate of GST. Let me tell you, not a difficult question. Mark price is given, rate of discount is given. So first of all, I'll calculate discount. Discount is equal to rate of discount multiplied by mark price, that is equal to 10 upon 100 multiplied by 15,000, right? So this will fetch me rupees 1,500. Now once I got discount, I can find out selling price. Selling price will be 15,000 minus 1,500, which will fetch me rupees 13,500. Now they have given us bill amount. Then I should know bill amount is equal to SP plus GST. Bill amount is 14,175. Selling price is 13,500. GST we have to calculate. So GST will be equal to 14,175 minus 13,500. That is 675 is your GST, but they have not asked GST, they have asked rate of GST. Then rate of GST will be nothing else but GST upon, GST is not calculated on mark price, we know it is calculated on selling price. So GST upon selling price multiplied by 100, so it will be 675 over selling price was 13,500 into 100. You can do the further calculation and you can find it out, rate of GST. We are going to see one more question. Question number 4. Bill amount is rupees 32,640. Rate of discount is 28% and rate of GST is 28% and rate of discount is 15%. We are supposed to find out mark price. Again, I personally like unitary method very well, so I'm going to make use of unitary method to calculate few things. I'm taking here selling price, and here I'm talking about bill amount. Right now in this, I do not know selling price. Say selling price is X and bill amount we know as 32,640. If selling price would have been 100, then bill amount will be 128. Why 128? Because GST is 28%. So on 100, if I count 28% is 28. So if SP is 100, bill amount will be 128. This is example of a direct variation. So in case of direct variation, ratios are equal. So X over 100 is equal to 32,640 over 128. X will be equal to 32,640 multiplied by 100 over 128. And if you calculate this part, value of X will come as 25,500. And that was our SP. So SP is rupees 25,500. We are not supposed to find out SP. We are supposed to find out mark price. So let us understand this also. Mark price and selling price. We are giving discount of 15%. So if my mark price is rupees 100, my selling price would be 85. But here my selling price is 25,500. Then what will be my mark price? Say that I am taking as Y. Again, this is an example of a direct variation. In the case of direct variation, ratios are equal. So Y over 100 is equal to 25,500 over 85. So Y will be equal to 25,500 multiplied by 100 over 85. On calculation, you will get 30,000. Final answer you have to write down. Mark price of the article is rupees 30,000. These 4 questions were based on type 1, where only one transaction is done. Next session will be done where you'll come across more than one transactions are done, and how to solve about those questions that we'll see. I hope this would go easy for you. Remember, GST is not difficult as it is taught by many of the students. Many students think that it is tough chapter because this is new. It is as such, terminology is new, GST, but it is nothing else but a question of percentage. You know the percentage very well. You can solve these questions. We have seen 4 variety questions, you know, where once you found out MP, once you found out rate of discount, once you found out bill amount, once you found out rate of GST. So this kind of variety of questions, you know, subject may vary. Subject means the question part may vary, but if you understand the concept very well of percentage, and along with percentage, if you make use of your unitary method or variation method, this chapter is very simple. Next session we shall see multiple transactions, how to solve such kind of questions.